Hey guys, I'm FatBuddyCat, and this is my Coleman CT200U. Today, we're going to be installing a torque converter on a 16mm output shaft with a kit from the Grey Goat Garage and my good friends at OMB Warehouse.com. First thing I did was took off the chain going back to the rear sprocket. I then removed my pull starter so that I could get a 19mm with a ratchet on my flywheel nut. I'll come back over to the clutch and I'm going to remove the 10mm bolt holding it onto the output shaft. Once I get this bolt off, we're going to be removing the primary chain. Yeah, you can't slide it off, see? So, chain's got to go. This chain comes off. We take the clutch. And now we have four 10mm bolts holding the jack shaft to the side cover, and I have a 10mm bolt with a 1/2-inch nut connecting my jack shaft to this tab down here. We added that brace because the engine is already sitting on the riser. It doesn't have to come off. Thinking ahead. Put this jack shaft and all its parts in a box, and we now have a clean slate ready for the torque converter. I have my back plate mounted with my pulley and everything clears. This unit is modified, but that was for a different installation. We're just reusing it. I have it set up with a 10-tooth 420 sprocket ready to receive the chain. Before we start working on the driver, we're going to get the chain on just to check the alignment. At this point, we could even put tension on it. Yeah, I'd say that's looking pretty straight. I have the master link on already. I'm going to see if I can't add a little bit of tension. I think I'm just going to try to do it at the rear axle for now. I'm about as far back on that axle as I can go, and I still have quite a bit of free play on the chain. I can still move the engine forward since the riser slides on the stock slots. Here's what I'm thinking. If I take 2 links out of this, because you can't just take one, then readjust everything, we'll still be able to use the jack shaft, because when we originally set it, we went a little forward on the engine and a little back on the axle. That way we'd have enough chain for the torque converter. So by taking a couple links out, we're still going to be completely convertible between the two. On the same chain, that is. It's pretty cool, huh? There's the links I took out. And I have this chain pretty tight. I split the difference between the engine plate and the axle. It rolls like butter, so hopefully that'll work out. This particular Coleman has the 16mm output shaft we're going to use a 16 millimeter to 1-inch adapter to get a 1-inch bore 30 series driver on here. I was able to get this adapter off and on, but you know me, I can't leave well enough alone. I'm going to make it so it's super smooth. All I did was run a sanding barrel on my Dremel around, and I basically just took off the bit of, I don't know what you'd call it, age, the patina that was on the outside. Just polished it up one time all the way around. Just like this. All the way out to the end. And then I just went all the way around the shaft. I used my flywheel to spin it. Swish. We're going to make sure to clean up real good. You don't want any metal shavings around that oil seal. Before we install the adapter, we're going to slide a washer onto the output shaft. Make sure it's all the way in. And then we grab the adapter. That's going to go on with this threaded hole facing out this way. The keyway on the output shaft lines up with the slot that is next to that threaded hole. We have this bigger than usual key. That goes into the slot and then drops into the keyway onto the shaft. Now the two are locked together. This little set screw goes in that threaded hole once you're done. You still have one more step. The key is not perfectly flush. Alright? It's sticking up a little bit on mine. It's not much, but it's there. And it is enough to mess with our 1-inch bore driver. This other keyway that is on the adapter is where the driver is going to go. So we'll line it up, we'll start pushing it on, and then, oh wait, we can't. Or if we do, it's going to get super tight, and the likeliness of us getting it back off is going to decrease dramatically. So, see, even right there it was a little sticky. Get that back, and we'll pull the key out. I'm going to go place this in my vise, and I'll use my Dremel with that sanding barrel to just address the top of it. Take a skosh off. Let that cool off for a minute. Alright, let's try this with our modified key. We line up the slot, drop the key in, make sure we're all the way back. Now we'll grab this portion of the driver, we'll line the key up with the keyway on the adapter, and we can push it in. It doesn't have to go that far. It really only needs to be right about there. So we get this off, push this all the way on again, and now I gotta find that set screw. I know it's around here somewhere, and I'm going to put that in this threaded hole. Once the set screw is tight, we can slide on a spacer. Push that all the way up against the washer, and now let's try to see how we are for alignment. Not too bad. We have to come out just a little bit more. Let's see what I have for shims. Eek. This is 1 inch. Maybe this will work. This is the original washer that I put on before the adapter, and here is a thicker one. I'd say it's about twice as thick as the original, and probably pretty close to that same distance as that gap we had. There's only one way to find out. Let's get this back together. It's easier if you put this portion on first. It goes just like this. The key goes in the keyway. Line it up. It'll wiggle on, but where I'm using one hand, it's just as easy to tap it with my rubber mallet. Once you have that on, take a look at it. You want to make sure that this end is down here. As long as that key section is on the other side, see how it's in the shaft over there, then you're all right. This slides on over that, and then unlike the regular 3/4 30 series that has the keyed pilot, this just has a straight up pilot. That'll go in like that, and now I just have to find a bolt long enough. I'll add the belt too. I went with a grade 8 10.9. The threads are about 6 millimeters wide. So this bolt is capable of withstanding 16 newtons or 20 foot-pounds. I would not go any tighter than this with this shaft. I just tossed my pull starter back on, installed a nice blue cover, and some matching, slightly more aggressive foot pegs. Now, we're ready to go for a ride. I'll see you guys outside. Comes from the 30 series. Smooths out when you add a little RPM. So this is, I don't know, stage 1 3/4. You have everything you would have on your regular stage 1 plus a high compression head. 30 lubrication. This thing can creep right up stuff now. Pull right up, nice and slow. Sweet. Looking wheelie. Jack shaft. That thing was really holding us back. Stop on a hill here. Alright, now we put a load. That nasty vibration where it gets the clutch. If I'm rolling backwards, we got a little gas, going right up. Really? Handled that. Try not to trip the grass up. Brakes seem to be holding up well. Alright. See how it does in the woods. Might get us over these logs a little bit better. Yeah, they're still slippery. Alright. Not much you can do about that. Alright. That's good. And deep, I'd say we're right up to about the bottom of the frame. Right. Natural kickstand. This stuff is no joke. Neither is this mini bike. Ain't that something? See how it creeps? Nice and quiet. No jerking around. I'm enjoying the ride. another good rip. Hot sauce. As far as modifications go, we did pretty good this time. But thanks to Grey Goat Garage and my good friends at OMBWarehouse.com, we can always do just a little bit better. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.
I want you to stay. I want you to stay. I want you to stay. I want you to stay.